Hi, everybody. So Amy, thank you very much. Thank you, ETA. I'm going to introduce our panelists real quick, and then we'll get started. So first we have Denise Tahali, Senior Vice President of Sales for PaySafe. We have Dinata Ramnishta, Vice President of Business Development and Partnerships at Lendio. We have Keith Sampson, Director of National Sales for North American Bank Card. And I'm going to attempt what not many people attempt. And we also have Pierre-Emmanuel Peruchot de la Bussiere, General Manager, Channel and Business Development at Vend. I am not going to do that again, so we're just going to call him PE for the duration of this panel, which I think is what he goes by traditionally. I do want to give a special props to my Montreal office mates at PaySafe who helped me pronounce his name. Did I get it right?
Pretty good.
All right. I'm Cuban, so I don't speak French. Anyway, so we're really excited about this panel, this entire track actually. I think everybody knows SMBs are the lifeblood of this industry, whether it's payment processing, value-added services, software platforms, we're all focusing and targeting SMBs. While the first panel kind of focused a little bit more on what we would consider post-sale, customer service and data and how to really take care of your clients, we're focusing more on pre-sale. So consultative selling and how to get the right solutions in front of the SMB customers and prospects. So first, I'm going to have each panelist kind of introduce their name, their title, organization, what they do for each organization. So we can start with Denise here.
Hi, good morning, everyone. And I'm Denise Tahali. I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales for PaySafe North America. I've been at this a while. I've been in the industry over 28 years, working for a majority of major financial institutions, major processors, and large ISOs. Most recently, I joined PaySafe through the acquisition last year of iPayment. As far as PaySafe is concerned, we're a global payments processor. We're over 15 different countries with over 3,000 employees. In the United States, we have over 200,000 merchant accounts. Quite a few of those are SMB marketeers, as well as processing over $100 billion in volume. And one of the things at PaySafe that we like to focus on is the entire ecosystem of payments. It's not just only the merchant accounts, but we also look at the partner experience as well as the consumer experience. And we have a large suite of products that address that, everywhere from issuing and acquiring, as well as digital wallets and also cash solutions. And I'm happy to be on the panel today.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you.
PE?
Hello, everyone. So I'm PE. It's the short version for Pierre-Emmanuel. So I'm VP of Business Development and Partnerships at Vend. Vend is a cloud-based point-of-sale software. We started the company in New Zealand. And I started with the company in New Zealand, and then with the company I moved to the UK, set up the operation and the office in the UK. And now I'm based in San Francisco. And I've been working in the payment industry for a while, and I made lots of friends along the way. But as of this new quarter, I'm now focused on what we call Grow My Business. So it's a new team, new division, where we're very much focused on helping our customers grow their business. And to do this, we have to help them find the right solution. So when the opportunity for this panel came across, we saw it was a great opportunity for us to share our story and what we do to help small businesses.
Thank you. Dinata?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here with us on a Thursday morning. Dinata Ramnishta, Senior Vice President for Partner and Lender Strategy at Lendio. Lendio is a marketplace that brings together SMBs and matches them to the appropriate source of capital. So we bring together small businesses and lenders in an ecosystem to match them with the right product, the right solution in the short, medium, and long term. Lendio was established over 10 years ago and has been growing. In terms of my prior experience, I spent time, many years at American Express, primarily on the non-card lending side for American Express. Lendio is based out of Salt Lake City. We have offices in Salt Lake City and New York, and I primarily work out of New York.
And Keith?
Hi, good morning. My name is Keith Sampson, and I'm Director of National Sales at North American Bank Card. My primary job focuses our partner experience, and a big piece of that is bringing products to our sales partners. At NAB, we're a full end-to-end processor with our own platform EPX. We have our own gateway. We're constantly enhancing that, making it very attractive to ISVs. We have an ISV channel team. And so what we try to do is we try to blend our partners. We have roughly 3,000 sales partners out there that are working with SMBs every single day. So we want to make sure that they have products that they can bring to those SMBs and help secure that business as opposed to losing it to a Square or to some of those other organizations.
Awesome. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank everybody else for being here as well. So we're going to get started with asking each panelist to kind of go a little bit deeper into their existing go-to-market strategy, particularly around how they are trying to target SMBs. And so let's start with Keith and work our way back.
Okay. So when we look at SMBs, a lot of them are opening their doors. Like, I think one of the questions we were talking about, if the same one, is the millennial buyers are all wanting to open up businesses. And so what we look at is the traditional sales partner in our industry is used to selling terminals, right? We hear it all the time. They're out there selling terminals. Any new businesses opening up, the majority of them are not opening up with a cash register and a terminal. They're opening up with some form of software, some sort of solution that's going to help them with their overall business. So what we started last year at our sales conference with our sales partners is the idea of solution fitting and actually having a consultative approach that they can go into those small businesses, get assistance. We're bringing on a full point of sale referral team that they'll have access to. They can pull that team in, guide them through a consultative sell, give them options, and marry the right merchant with the right solution.
Awesome. Donata?
That's great. So when we think about how we service SMBs, so at Lendio, the core existence of our business model is to ensure that we're matching the SMBs to the right product, right? Which is very fitting to our conversation today. As a function of being a marketplace, our main responsibility is to create efficiencies in the way that we create that pathway for SMBs to find the right product and financing. So we play in this space that sort of complements traditional lending from the banks, this alternative lending space that was born not that many years ago, right? Where, we have this fallout and this, not favoring of the SMBs from the bank perspective when it comes to lending. However, the need for access to capital is very much prevalent. Now, as we all know, SMBs that we all service, right, come in different shapes, forms, needs, sizes, right? So we have SMBs that have revenues of, 15, 20,000 on a monthly basis, those that go in the million. We have SMB owners that have a risk profile of a certain level. Some of them are riskier, the others are less riskier. So to mitigate and figure out or help SMBs figure out the path to their financing products, Lendio provides the infrastructure via one application to match these business owners to the appropriate lending vehicle as well as lending institution. So that is the driver and the key to our business model, is to ensure that we create that experience as seamless as possible and provide options and speed for that SMB as they're trying to seek financing, whether it be for their working capital needs or growth.
Okay. P?
So in terms of go-to-market for Ven, when we started in 2010, we just created this cool software and we started tweeting and we started spending some money on AdWords, etc. And we got lots of customers this way, and there wasn't that much competition in cloud-based point of sale. Well, now there's more competition, and to get to SMBs, we found that the most efficient way to do this is to work with partners. So we're very partner-friendly. We've created some great partnerships along the way. Not so long ago, we announced a partnership with NAB, and we work very closely with their partners that are out there on the streets, building relationships with those SMB buyers, and they are building this trust. And there's no way we could do this ourselves by just answering the phone and showing a demo to them. We have to work with partners that are in front of those SMBs. And so far, it's been extremely successful for us. And we're constantly looking to build up new relationships with partners that understand the ecosystem and that are looking to provide great value to those SMB buyers.
Awesome. Denise?
Well, at PaySafe, we go to market under several different channels, and we also have an indirect and a direct sales force. As far as our direct sales, we obviously control that sales experience a little bit more. We've created consultative selling. We have the scripts. We have training available that we deliver in-house. We also have training that we are available to our partners as well. Now, most of our partners have adopted a consultative approach, but some of them still focus a little bit on price. So we're working with those partners, but that's the beauty of it, right? Everybody goes to market with their different sales strategies. Some have feet on the street, some have hundreds of agents, some have a handful of agents, some have in-house bound sales teams, and some have telesales. So they customize the sales and their companies however they like. Because we do attract all different size merchants, we have to have merchants products for all those. So whether it's mobile technology or it's a point of sale, we have our gateways available with our ISVs. It's numerous different products. So it's really customizing the right products that partner needs to sell. And then also we're still seeing, going back to that sale on price, there are still people that are competing on price. How can I save 10 cents to the merchant, a basis point or two? But what we're finding really is the life cycle of that merchant is very short. And they're not going to be around. They're just going to be around as far as the next person coming in the door to offer them another 50 cents or another $1 a day on their savings. So we are going and adding different products, and we're helping our partners add those products and really helping them with training. We have a partner development team that does just that and works with our partners on the new products that we come out with. We also offer partner training through videos that they can go out to their agents with and help them, sort of a train-the-trainer approach, and that's working very well as well.
All right, great. So I actually want to dive in a little bit deeper on something that it seems like everyone pointed out, and that's kind of moving over to a consultative sales strategy. I don't think it's anything new. We've all discussed it. We've all heard it at partner conferences and trade shows for the past couple years. Competing on price, particularly in payment processing and acquiring, is kind of an older model. But I think it's easier said than done. And so if you guys can each kind of go through of how to best employ a sales strategy through your sales channels, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people can get value from, an actual application of how those sales strategies have been employed or how we've changed, how your organizations have changed from maybe competing on price in the past to being more consultative. Let's start with P.
Okay, thank you. Similar to Denise, we've trained our team to act like consultants. So they spend a lot of time understanding the retailers' needs and their problems, their workflows. They ask a lot of questions, and they help them put together the best solution, the best workflow for their business. So Vend is focused on SMB retailers that that own fashion boutiques, gift stores, sports and goods outlets, or shoe stores. These retailers have an inventory management problem. And as most of you will know, doing inventory management is really hard. There's no one that's looking forward to doing a stock take or a stock count. It's a pretty painful and horrible process. Our team is trained to understand this, and is trained to help the retailer find the best solution. And in some cases, they will make some recommendation of other software that integrates with Vend. For example, booking software or accounting software to help the retailer with their workflow. We might also recommend a specific device that they should use depending on their type of retail store, and we'll also help them find the best payment partner. So we have a team internally that will spend some time understanding the retailer's need, and will really pitch a value-based solution to them. And we certainly don't talk about, oh, well, you're going to save a little bit of money here and there. That's not the way we operate. We help them really look for solutions that will help them grow their business.
Keith?
Yeah, this is where it goes back to the idea of, I think you had mentioned that the training, right? We put together a lot of training for our sales partners. We have that library available. We have a team. But when you look at the fact that we have roughly 3,000 sales partners across the country out there doing this every single day, to say to retrain 3,000 of them to be consultative salespeople and not sell on the old habits is that's a big dream, right? So that's where we took the path of, let's not advertise and go, hey guys, become a point of sale expert, right? The idea of becoming a point of sale expert takes years. If people that actually do it know how long it takes. So instead, let's bring in a team of experts that will help you close deals, that will help you walk through that process, right? I'm a sales partner, I'm on the streets, I walk into a retail application, I get on the phone with that team, here's the opportunity, great. They're gonna help set up a meeting, ask questions to that opportunity with the sales partner involved or not, it's kind of up to them, and then make recommendations like Vend, Paradise, or different things that might fit, right? Guide them through the demos. They become the consultative piece of that. The sales partner can go off and keep selling. They can keep doing what they do every day, drive more leads, sell more accounts, and then we help take the brunt of that and really marry and match up the merchant with the best fit for a long-lasting relationship and not try to fit that merchant into a box. I think too many times in our industry, sales partners are out there with one or two products that they can sell. And so when they're walking into that potential client, they're going, okay, how do I make this client fit into this? Mm-hmm. Whereas we want to sit there and go, oh, we have Pay Anywhere. Like I said, we have Vend. We have all these different options. Which one really is the best fit? Mm-hmm. Let's build a box around you as opposed to try to fit you into ours.
Gotcha. Denise?
Similar to Keith's description, I think it's very much about that industry and what type of merchant are you working with. You know, I think there's still partners around that they have 3 or 4 applications in their briefcase, and depending on what industry they're speaking to or what merchant, they know, well, I'll pull this one or that one, so they're not as exclusive anymore. But by at PaySafe, we're really a one-stop solution. We offer high risk as well as low risk, and we also several different sponsorship banks and several different products. For example, we have a petroleum division. That's an entirely different consultative approach because you're talking more about pay at the pump and fleet cards and EBT, and it gets very involved. So we have a specific petroleum sales division just to help those agents that may come upon convenience stores or EBT. When you're going back to the other types of merchants, really kind of offering a product suite and helping them, what questions should you be asking? Instead of, let me see your statement, have your statement ready, I'll look at it, let's do a statement analysis. You know, talk about inventory, talk about time and attendance, talk about some of the apps. We're the largest reseller of Clover, so we focus a lot on Clover. It's not our only solution, but it's an important family of products that we have, and there's obviously a lot in that app market, whether it's home base or whether it's some of the other, obviously, the inventory and such are important to them. So we really kind of work with the partners. But once again, it's important that the partners kind of develop what their niche is, and some of them have referral partners that focus on specific industries, so we can customize that for them.
Now, Donata, I left you for last on this one because it seems you obviously have a little bit of a different go-to-market strategy, being more platform-based, if that's fair. So can you kind of go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So by definition of being a pure marketplace, what we sell to the customer is that consultative sort of conversation and approach, right? So that is our product, if you will, given that we ourselves are not a lender. So that is key to our process, really, really critical. What I didn't mention before in terms of acquisition channels, we have our direct channel, we have our partnership channel, that is the largest channel in terms of acquisition at Lendio, and we also have a franchise channel where it's more of a belly-to-belly sale for that customer that we can't reach digitally. No matter which channel a customer comes to Lendio for financing, they are managed by a single funding manager who is a financing specialist in all product types in financing. Of course, we have specialist SMEs within Lendio that train others that are more specialized, but generally speaking, each of our funding managers is an overall specialist in all product types. So we have this approach that when a customer fills out an application and they're in need for financing, what we have found, especially in the SMB space, is that all they know when they come through the door is that they need access to capital, right? Very limited knowledge in terms of the product type, right? Or sort of where their risk profile allows them to fit from the pricing perspective. So right there, we have sort of a responsibility to heavily educate the customer in terms of what their expectations ought to be as we then take that one application and try to seek financing options on their behalf. And then moving forward from there, we manage the entire experience. Instead of sending that application to multiple lenders and having that lender and merchant interaction occur with multiple lenders, we in-house that interaction, and the point of contact for the merchant is that funding manager at Lendio only. Once we've collected the offers on behalf of the merchant, we then present those offers, and that's when consultative selling and education and merchant empowerment comes to place, right? The way we think about our customers is always in the mindset of lifetime value, right? So what we want to do is figure out what can we do for them today, short term, medium term, and then long term. So we approach it by having this fiduciary duty to that merchant to find the right product for their need. Sometimes that need is the best pricing, sometimes that need is timing, and sometimes that need is the largest loan amount. But we address it on this, high tech, because we do have algorithms that work in the back end, but also high touch approach where we're always talking to them to figure out what their best option is. So from there, now I also want to talk about how do we fit in this ecosystem of merchant services, right? We are a strong partner to many merchant service providers as they've now moved towards this model of not just being a merchant service provider per se, but more of a merchant service aggregator, to Denise's point, right? So we have sort of a book of options to service our merchants. So the way that Lendio fits in that ecosystem is that for many merchant service aggregators, we serve as their lending solution. And the reason for that is that we enable them to speak to different merchants depending on their business profile, vertical, or risk profile to be able to find them financing. So we collaborate very closely with merchant service aggregators so that we can then enable that book to go in and say, today might be, let's talk merchant services, but tomorrow it could be financing. And that's how I can help you as your provider or as your consultant, if you will, in that process. So we collaborate very closely in this space with merchant service providers, being ourselves a pure marketplace and a solution provider for financing.
Thank you, guys. I think now's a good time to kind of change it up a little bit. And I'm a marketing guy, so I always love looking at demographics. I found an interesting stat in Inc. magazine. 66% of millennials want to start their own business. I don't think that's new. I think everyone who's in door to door for SMBs are seeing that the generations might be getting a little younger. And more millennials want to establish their own businesses. Actually, more young people in general just want to establish their own businesses more than ever so in recorded history, I guess. So I really want to talk about how these kind of changing demographics are impacting or disrupting or changing the way that consultative selling or just in general selling merchant services or any type of services, how that's really impacting, how you have to maybe possibly change based on not just what kind of business, but what age the business owner might be, right? So Denise, you want to start with you and we'll just work our way down?
Yeah, I think, for the first time in history, we now have 4 different generations of merchant owners, right? Whether you're a millennial or if you've been at this for a while. So you have to really have all solutions and all boarding and implementations for those partners as well, for those merchants as well. So when you think about, some of them want quick and easy, right? They'll apply online, they want to know what the rate is, they want it to be painless, and they want it to be fast. So a lot of people we see going online, self-selecting, we also offer that. But we also have, obviously, the more advanced products. Even though they're signing up with those online flat pricing and just maybe a mobile solution on their phone, what we're finding is that that may be fine when they just open their business, but depending on the size of the business or depending on what type of business, it's not meeting all their needs. It's okay, they can open their doors, they can start selling their wares using this simple solution. But what we're finding is we're going back to those same accounts and working with the partners as well to see what else can we help them with? What else can you add? Remember, the more products you have to that merchant, it's sticky. So if they just signed up for one flat pricing that's just going to do credit cards, it's not going to be very effective for them, and I don't think they're going to be here very long. Years ago, gone are the days where they would walk into their bank, right? A typical merchant would walk into their bank, open up a checking account, Hopefully that banker said, you know, do you need to accept payments? And they signed up right then and there. Some of them may have had a local agent maybe that called on them, but that was the sales cycle, that was it. Now they know everything. They have data, they go out on the internet, they research, they have options. So it doesn't matter if they're in Miami and the processor's in Seattle or in San Diego or all the way in New York. They're able to apply online. But just because they sign up initially with that simple solution does not mean that they're going to stay that long time. So you have to go back and revisit, making sure that you're meeting their needs and what else can you sell, whether it's lending or financial institution or offers, or maybe it's some of the other products. Maybe they need multiple locations, et cetera. Help them with their sales tax, help them with their payroll. It all adds up. Sometimes that one-stop shop isn't going to help.
Thank you. P?
So yeah, for us, the way we look at it is like when you think about new small business owners, you got to think about what motivates them, and they are like consumers really. So like you and I, they want to have a relationship with someone. They trust peer reviews. They will go and find advice from their friends. They will share their experience. SMB owners will buy based on a great experience, and they'll tell everyone about it. So when you're selling to SMBs, you've got to provide them with a great experience, and people will remember that, and they will let their friends know about it. If you're just selling on price, you're going to lose that customer. Obviously, there's going to be a range, but it's in the SMB space, it's really it's a people thing. You've got to be close to them, understand their needs, and really build up that rapport and look after them like they are, your closest friends.
Yeah. So, I mean, this idea around evolving to match a certain demographic is not a new one, right? I mean, we always have to evolve. Obviously, the millennials in the mix, but even more so, a general cultural shift around thirst for data and information is very prevalent, probably driven by the millennial generation, but overall, right? I mean, listen, I just realized this, and I don't know how many of you have used this, but now Domino's, in an app for ordering, allows you to see at which stage your pizza is at. I mean, let's face it, somehow that is really important to people anymore, right? So that is the world that we now live in. I need to know, were you going to make a comment? Or
It's hard to hear.
It's hard to hear.
I think I heard something about.
It's not important, it's imperative, right? It's expected anymore, right? So yes, absolutely. So they want the app, but not just there, right? So the onboarding would be that app when I order my pizza, right? Merchants specifically.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yes. So my point being, right, they want access to data. They want to be able to have a seamless experience. That is the world that we live in. And whether millennials or otherwise, we have to face it, all of us right here. And the way that we do it and we get up to speed in terms of how do we meet that demand is by collaborating, right? And we have to do it now. We have to do it fast, right? Because who knows, 2 years from now, what will come about, right? So this need for matching up to the demographic of the millennials, but also this cultural shift around I want information at my fingertips. I want a smooth experience, whether in onboarding or checkout, it doesn't matter. I want it smooth, right? That is prevalent. We all here and here have to solve for that and have to solve for that quickly. So yeah, that's what I would say to that. Yes, we do have to shift. It's not a new phenomena. I mean, I hope at the next CTA we're not going to be sitting to say, how do we keep things status quo? That's never going to happen, right? So we're evolving, and there's clear indication that enabling our systems to match the merchant demand around information and ease of use is imperative. The other thing I want to add, if this particular topic is ever more relevant, is to the SMB, more so in consumer or anywhere else. At Lendio, we conducted specific studies with large populations to look at what is the main pain point for SMBs. I think we can come to an agreement into what we found that is actually the case. Anybody has an idea what the study found? What is the number one pain point for SMBs? Anybody wants to shout that out?
Time.
Time. It's time, right? They're not running their business, they're running in their business, right? So how do we alleviate for that? And also match the demand for wanting access to information, whether millennial or otherwise. Maybe this need to service millennials is helping us keep on our toes, but it's across the board.
Awesome, thank you. Keith?
Yeah, so I think personally this is a really exciting time to be in payments. And I'm going to talk to the millennial in a little bit different way as well, right? So because of the millennial buyer in the SMB market, it's making all of us who's out there, whether we've been doing it for 7 years or 20 years, change the way that we do it, which is a good thing, right? Because when we go out and do that, I can't change my approach just for the millennial. I have to be able to go to the next door that's owned by somebody who's not a millennial, that's been in business for 25 years, and be able to still sell on value, right? So our industry is going to, you're going to hopefully see more and more of the sales partners grab that opportunity to be like, you know what, I'm not going to be a payments guy. I'm going to be a business consultant. And as a business consultant, I don't walk in the door and say, hey, I can save you money on your credit card processing.
Right.
Yeah, you and the 5 people they heard from on the phone that day.
Right.
I can walk in your business and give you time by providing a solution that will save you 3 to 5 hours a week. I can give you access to capital. The payments person who also, we're seeing more and more millennials getting into this space, right, to become payments professionals. Right. We've got one on our partner council that's 25. They've been doing it for 2 years. You know what I mean? So we're starting to see that end of it. So yes, I thought somebody brought up the experience part of it. The experience part is really, really crucial. You have to be seamless because both the millennial from a sales partner perspective and a millennial for a buyer, and it's starting to travel more upstream, is, you know, people will pay more for a memory. People will pay more for a positive experience. You see these large box stores, the JCPenney's and the Sears and all this other stuff, they're shrinking. Small businesses are growing because they're not trying to compete with the onlines and this and the massive overhead. They know, and and I'll use a story, I've got a clothing store in Warsaw, Indiana. That's where I go. I buy all my clothes from him, right? And he gives me a great experience every single time. Hey, Keith, here's a new shirt. He knows my size. I don't get online to price check. I don't worry about trying to go to, I know Tim's got me. And that's what the buyers, and both the buyers and our sales partners and new business owners are gravitating towards that. I want to provide a great experience. And when we can walk in the door and give them solutions to help give their customers a great experience and not just capture data, but become a business consultant and say, here's the data we can give you. I'm going to leave you to your own devices and figure out how to use it. But no, I'm going to teach you how to use it, right? I'm going to teach you how to take this data and turn it into smart marketing. Teach this data to increase your sales. Take you to use this data to teach your staff how to get your average ticket up from $25 to $35. Absolutely. And those are the things that if sales partners in our industry can really grab on and do, that gives us an opportunity to just, really serve the SMBs in a big way.
So another thing that I think is, I think consumers, whether you're a personal consumer buying a good or SMB looking to buy services to help you run your business, I think the internet's obviously playing a vital role. It's an elephant, right, in the room. And so, the use of review sites and marketplaces and soliciting other people's opinions on your services and products is being a lot more appreciated and probably believed more. I think there's still a lot of younger people that are skeptical of some of the things and some of the ways that businesses get around review sites, but I think most people believe or tend to agree with a Yelp review or a AAA score or something like that, so or BBB score. So can you guys speak to how review sites and marketplaces potentially impact your go-to-market, your sales strategies as well? We'll start with Pierre, maybe.
So, yeah. As I was saying earlier, SMBs are like consumers, and just like me, when they go to a new restaurant, I'm going to read reviews. But I'm only going to read reviews and I'm going to skim through them. But if I find that they're not authentic, it's not going to work for me. And I'm probably not going to go to that restaurant. So if I find places where you're trying to pay for those reviews and incentivize people to give you great feedback, I'm not going to believe in it. At Vend specifically, what we try and do is we really try and listen to our customers, and we post their feedback in real time as it happens. So you can go on our website, you'll find a page where you get like instant feedback on what we call the customer health score. And this is the rating that our customers are giving us. We're not posting their comments without obviously their approval, but what we certainly do is we post in real time how our customers feel about Vend, and we feel that this is a really authentic way of sharing the experience that we provide, and that has had a great impact for us. Today we have 25,000 merchant locations in more than 150 countries, and showing this authentic feedback has certainly helped us get there.
Okay, Donata?
Yeah, so what I would add to that is, right, this is the journey of how do you, so Keith has stopped shopping for clothes because he has Tim, right? So how do we become a Tim for our SMBs? So instead of them then having to go to various review sites for different products, we are then that trusted source for them, right? So that's the focus and the evolution sort of the space is how do we become the Tims of the world? So because again, there is a need for information, but that's because potentially there is a disconnect between I want information and I don't know a one-stop shop of a trusted source to obtain it, right? So whoever cracks this code in industry of becoming the Tim of the merchant service aggregators, I'm not going to say providers, aggregators, sort of a bigger picture, right? That is the big win. And I think the solution to that is a lot of collaboration in the space. But yes, again, going back to everyone wants more access to information, and now it's readily available online. Of course, this need for the marketplace model has served us well. We've experienced an organic growth because of it, because again, merchants, when it comes to lending, don't know where they need to end up. So helping them through that process, through the marketplace, becomes beneficial. But again, even as a marketplace for lending, do we need to stop there, right? So there's a need to look introspectively to say, we now have a trust from a large set of customers. How else can we service them? What else is there so we can aid their business needs so they can keep on running with their business versus having to worry about all of the different components of what it takes. So yes, there's been an evolution and reaching out, but our responsibility then is how do we fill that void, which is need for consultation, information, and trust.
I purposely left the two merchant service providers last on this one, just given the payments industry in general and our issue with reviews possibly. Throughout I've been in payments for about 12 years now. It's never been a pretty story. So if you guys can expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think, obviously people want, they're going to go out and check on the reviews a lot of times, but there's a lot of facets to a merchant services account, whether it's the terminal itself or the service and the client experience, and of course pricing sometimes come into a factor as well. But what's the old adage? I think, Pierre, you mentioned it a few minutes ago, but if you had a really bad experience, you're going to tell 100 people. If you have a good experience, you may tell about 5 or 10. So I think people are posting their experiences online, but I think it's our responsibility. Things are going to happen. Like if you sign up thousands of merchant accounts, there is going to be somebody that had an experience that may not be to their expectation, and they will share it. But it's our responsibility to address it. And I think we see a lot of online internet sites where people are expressing their opinions, giving bad reviews, but then what's happening is that service provider is not responding to that. They're just ignoring it, and I think that's dangerous. Things will happen, people will not be happy, but you have to improve that client experience by addressing it, taking it head on, because that reputation will just carry you on. And not only for the ISOs in the room and your partners, not only do the merchants see that, but your agents see that as well. And they're not going to want to partner with somebody that has, where the merchants have bad experiences. So I would encourage, whenever you see reviews, know and respond.
Keith?
Yeah, I mean, on the review side, I think part of it is you just have to be honest with what they're looking at, right? So if you try to sit there and sugarcoat things or whatever else, it's never going to get you anywhere, right? So I have a couple hard, fast rules. One, I don't ever badmouth a competitor. So as much as I may not like a certain solution or whatever else, hey, that's a good solution. It may not be the best one for you. Let us walk through this. And so, and in our market, and as quickly as our industry changes, right? There's technology today that didn't exist 6 months ago, a year ago. So as these new solutions, new technology come to market, you're not going to have a year or two worth of history of reviews. So it now becomes my job. Like at the end of the day, no matter what the solution is, I'm still me. I can be that Tim, right? You're talking about. What's the trick? The sales partner can be that person, right? They can be that person that says, hey, here's this brand new market solution. It's been tested, it's beta. Here's what these customers have said about it. You're not going to see a lot of reviews, but I can be that person to provide that information, right? And I think that's where we have to look at. There's the online presence, but at the end of the day, there's still the consultative aspect of properly handling, whether it's a negative review on our company as a whole because somebody was unhappy with something, right? Or I'm trying to bring a new product to market because it really fits a need and it would really benefit the merchant, but there's just no reviews out there to look at compared to X, Y, or Z. How do I establish the credibility on behalf of that product in a crowded space? So those are the types of things that the sales partner and then companies like ourselves in the payments can help equip and train and support them to tell that story.
That's great. I'm going to go through one more question, then we're going to open it up to the audience, and if no one has any questions, we'll have a couple of backups. So I really want to focus on technology. I think it's pretty apparent, again, that technology is moving very fast, and it's becoming a lot less expensive than it used to be, particularly at the SMB level. And it seems like the SMBs tend to be the guinea pigs or the early adopters of a lot of, whether it's a new type of POS or an alternative payment method. The bigger merchants tend not to be as willing to invest in something new right away. It's the SMBs that really kind of get hooked into those things. So I want to ask the panel, does this put more pressure on service providers to partner with related services, integrations with software, and different things to help with the consultative selling approach? I'm going to start with Donata on this one only because I feel like this is, again, kind of up her alley. So.
Yeah, so I can't speak specifically, right, again, to merchant service providers, but I can speak to the need when it comes to financing around coming up to speed with the requirements of the market and the requirements of the SMBs around being more technologically advanced and staying up to speed with changes, right? So at least from where we sit in lending, there is this expectation that the experience needs to continue to improve. So it keeps us on our toes and it keeps us looking for various solutions to ensure to make that experience as seamless as possible. Somebody mentioned, onboarding. How important is that onboarding? And for us, onboarding is an application process from beginning to end, right? So we're always looking at partnership opportunities, frankly, on a weekly basis that help us improve that, right? So this technology around plugging directly into the banks for obtaining bank statements so the merchant doesn't have to go and obtain them manually, right? So that's a solution. Technology around, synthesizing that data and making it palatable for our lenders now, right? Looking for a technology solution there. So yes, this idea and need for streamlined processes, for improving customer experience, always has us looking for partnerships and solutions to be able to deliver on that expectation.
So Denise?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of choices in technology, but think about how we all got here, right? You probably went through, most of you traveled on an airport or T&E expenses, or while you're here at the show, you had different, everybody pays differently. Every time you walk up to a merchant, it's an entirely different experience, right? Numerous different terminals. Don't you get kind of annoyed now when somebody hands you a receipt and a pen and you actually have to sign that receipt? You know, it's all about speed of checkout, online signature, and just ease. I think consumers want to pay the same way, regardless whether it's online or in person, and they obviously want ease of doing business. So there has to be a variety of solutions, but I think just making it easier for the consumer and easier for the merchants accept as well. Gone are the days as far as the flip phones are concerned, right? If anybody here had a flip phone, I'm pretty sure they don't. But that flip phone is only going to be a phone. It's never going to do anything else besides just be a phone. But most of you use your phone, that's your smartphone that you're looking at right now, many of you, for just that. You do the phone, you do texting, you do communication, you go on the internet, you check your messages. Some of you have Ring devices, you can see who's at your door right now back at home. That's the technology that we need to bring to the marketplace. What else can it do? Because the merchant just does not want just the terminal. They want to know, what else can I buy? Who is this person that's buying from me? What else can I sell them? How many of these did I sell? And of course, if the transaction is good, and is it secure or not? Haven't heard much conversation about security, but obviously we have to make sure that transaction is secure as well. So offering a choice to the merchants, speed of transaction, but also helping that consumer as well would be my choice.
So Keith and P, I know you guys are partners, right?
Yes.
So this is actually probably a good question for you guys to answer, not necessarily in tandem, but you know, kind of one off of each other, right?
Go ahead.
Okay. So for us, like for anyone that's selling a solution or a service to an SMB, they're going to have their core product, and that's awesome. But that SMB will want multiple solutions, as Dennis mentioned. You can't be an expert in everything, but your job is to connect the dots for that SMB buyer. It's to help them find that solution. Again, they are really time poor. But your job is to help them find a solution. So you have to partner with other companies. If you try and build everything for that SMB, you're probably going to lose and you're going to make a lot of enemies. And you know, in the SMB space, I mean, that's my personal view. It's better if you have a lot of friends that can help you provide a great service to those SMBs. And trying to be an expert in everything is just impossible, but trying to know and actually knowing enough about specific workflows or specific industries to help the business win, that's how you're going to win as a service provider.
Yeah, and you know, in tandem with that, it's one of the reasons why we forged the partnerships with companies like Venn, right? We know we've got our own products like Pay Anywhere and a few others, but we know that cannot be the solution for everybody.
Right.
Okay, and you know, so you have to find those partnerships that you can, and it's not just with that solution. Then you start looking at gift and loyalty. You start, how do we bundle those up to make it very, very easy? And I'll use an example, because like internally we have Pay Anywhere. Then we did a partnership with Homebase. So now through Pay Anywhere, somebody can join Homebase with a click of a button. And then we wanted to take that beyond Pay Anywhere, so we have our payments hub, which is our merchant access portal. We added Homebase in that. So as we continue to add more partnerships, you have to make it easy. You don't want to have another application for this and another application for this. I mean, you have to make it, if you pull these in a joint venture way, you know, kind of the same idea with our point of sale team. If they're doing a consultative sell, they can help with the merchant processing account. They can help with whatever application needs to be done for the point of sale solution that they might need. If there's other solutions that they need a custom app for marketing purposes or lending or whatever else, they can kind of be that one funnel that helps, you know, and then internally, how do we support it off of our systems? Because we already have that information. We already pulled their credit once. We already, you know what I mean? How can we share those things? Because, you know, at NAB, our mission is to be the easiest payments company to do business with. And it's not just with the merchant, it's also with the sales partner. So, you know, those are the things that we're constantly looking at internally to make happen.
All right, so we'll open it up to the audience if you guys have any questions for any of the panelists. Any questions about the Domino's order app?
Where's my pizza?
Listen,
Kate,
let's talk about that, right? So let's talk about I mean, listen, I'm not a big pizza eater, but it's a really good case study to look at really being in tune with the market and the demand. and also the ecosystem. So not only are they responding, right, to the demand for knowledge about this process and data and information, but what I just also learned about Domino's is that now they're filling potholes, right? So something to be learned on this side of things for us in terms of being good ecosystem players too, right? So how do we pave the way, right, for a smoother experience overall for our customers, right? So, I mean, yes, we laugh about the Domino example, but something to be learned about the spirit of what kind of participant do you want to be in industry, right? So it's really good to introspectively look. It helps you want to keep on getting better.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I think we have a couple more minutes. So we have one more topic maybe to introduce here. It's really maybe not an introduction. Been to a couple of panels. Everyone seems to be talking about verticalized approaches and solutions, kind of bundling solutions together for the right kind of vertical. We've touched on it, indirectly here because of just talking about consultative selling. You're going to get into verticalized sales, but is there anything you guys can speak to maybe on that front as far as how to apply something that's more vertical? Do you guys go out on your website and just list and have a landing page for every single possible vertical you service or anything like that? Because I think maybe there are some ISOs or agents here who are trying to employ those types of strategies. Maybe start, Keith? Yeah,
so, in the payments world, you're dealing with merchants of all types. And you're naturally going to have some people that fall into where their comfort zone is, their skill sets. But as a company, we have to support partners of all skill sets and all their comfort zones. So the conversation with a fine dining restaurant and the solutions that they need and what they may want, what their desires are substantially different than the food truck. Even talking, both dealing with food, but then you bring retail into that, e-commerce into that, and some of those different things. So it does become like a little bit more difficult to go, with verticalization, how do we support all of them, right? And that's where, again, leaning on partners, Vend in a retail space, other ones in a hospitality space, helping pool and utilize their resources to train and provide tools for our sales partners, having a team in place that specializes in helping that partner with the verticalization so they don't have to do it all. Like I said, it's a lot easier to help 3,000 people move in this than to try to retrain 3,000 people, if that makes sense.
We'll just work our way back.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, we were talking about consultative approach, right? You really cannot be a good consultant unless you're very mindful of the space that your customer is playing, right? So specific to financing, the way that we address the needs of, let's say, a restaurateur would be very different than that of a transportation company, right? Generally speaking, not only the needs are different, the assets are different, and we need to be able to speak to them about financing as it relates to their industry, right? So yes, we have these vertical approaches, and given that we, as Lendio and frankly other marketplaces, the responsibility lies heavily on education as well. The education has to be at the vertical level in order to be effective for our end merchants. So yes, I mean, it is critical in terms of moving towards a effective consultative sell to be mindful and targeted around vertical as well.
Pete?
So if I take a Vend example, when we started the company in 2010, we thought, we'll create a cloud-based point of sale software and everyone will want to use it. We're very, very naive. We have now stopped taking on a wide range of customers, and we actually focus on only about 5 specific verticals, and then there might be some sub-verticals under this, but we're really, really focused, and that's what has enabled us to be really great. If you try and be everything for everyone, you're not going to be great, and people will leave you because you're actually not providing an amazing experience. For our company to grow, we have to be extremely focused, so we don't do hospitality, we don't work with bars and restaurants. We're very focused on fashion, gift, and we understand their workflows really well, and that's what enables us to be great.
Well, at PaySafe, we've done a couple of things. We've partnered with companies like Company.com, for example. Those that may be familiar with Company.com, they play into the SMB market, and they really look at what does the SMB market need. For example, They can provide help with email addresses, technical support. They offer warranties on the equipment in the stores, all little things that all add up. So there's a whole dashboard of different items that help that merchant. So that's one of the partners that we work with for the verticals. We've also adopted and created some new products here, and a lot of it is on funding. We haven't really addressed any kind of cash flow or funding today for merchants, but we have something called PaySafe Capital, which is a merchant cash advance that we fund internally, available for our merchants, right through their receivables of their credit cards receivables. So that's an attractive program for some verticals. We also just announced PaySafe Pay Later. And what Pay Later is, it's actually a consumer product. So it plays into a high ticket. It's up to $10,000 of a ticket, of a transaction. And it enables that merchant to offer that to their consumers so they can apply right then and there for their credit at a very minimal expense, and the merchant gets paid within 48 hours of that transaction. So whether it's braces at an orthodontist or if it's a high ticket item in a jewelry store, we can supply that merchant with no chargeback risk whatsoever, their funds right away. The consumer pays us monthly, negotiated on a very attractive interest rate. So that helps the merchant that's giving the merchant cash flow. It's allowing them to increase their revenues through the price of those products. And then we get into a lot of different verticals. For example, in Europe, in Canada, we have a product called GoLo. GoLo actually delivers, we have electric cars that deliver goods very similar to an Uber Eats here in the States, where we'll deliver goods right to that place of business. You can go online. So if anybody's in the San Diego airport, for example, or LaGuardia, there's an app called At Your Gate. That's PaySafe. So you literally can be sitting at your gate, or perhaps you're an employee of the airlines and you're at a gate and you don't want to leave that gate because we all travel, right? That flight may go. But you could use your At Your Gate and we'll deliver food right to that gate. So those are different verticals that are helping those merchants grow and different advocates. So there are a variety of different products. You have to look at the needs, whether it's company.com, PaySafe. We have same-day funding and late batches, very popular right now. So merchants need their money right away. So we're also offering same-day funding or late batching, which is attractive, especially on the West Coast. So just listening to what they need and offering them their money. They want to get paid. Listen, we want immediate speed to cash. They need their money right away. They need to go buy other things. Helping the merchant keep them longer.
Awesome. I think we're actually up with time. Kate, am I right on that? You good? Oh, if we have maybe time for like one audience question, if it's quick. We got a question over here.
You talked about spending a lot of time, growing the merchant's business and being very focused on doing that. Basically, the research that you've spent as of late, what do you see as, I mean, it's good to speak about that in ambiguities, but what do you see as the biggest opportunities to help grow a merchant's business now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So the biggest opportunity is to help them make more money. For a merchant, at least for our profile of merchant, to make more money, they need to keep the customer that has bought from them already and find new customers. And to do this, we're building partnerships with companies like Facebook, Google, but also some loyalty players that have done a great job at helping measure the ROI on the spend. So we actually did a little pilot not so long ago where we were able to generate 10x ROI on the spend for a loyalty solution. And that's really helping the retailers grow. My team is measured on helping the retailer grow, and that's measured on their turnover increase.
Anyone else? Anything to add before we close up?
Yeah, I mean, our perspective is that one of the key sort of solutions to allowing merchants to grow is giving them access to capital, right? So if you ask for the second pain point that merchants experience is exactly that, and whether it is for working capital, cash flow management, whether it is because they want to expand and grow, they always need effective, cost-effective, easy to get access to capital. So, and that's what we're in business of providing. So I know that there's many components of helping merchants grow. For us as Lendio and as a financing marketplace is to allow them to have the access to capital that they would need for that growth.
Great.
I would just add that, they obviously they want to sell more things to more people. So again, it goes all back to data analytics, helping them with their inventory and understand what's an attractively priced, higher margin item. When you go to the register and you see, why does Home Depot have candy and gum at the checkout line? There's a high margin on that, right? It's priced very high. So what you want to do is you want to help them, educate them on learn what's selling, what's their inventory, what can they sell more of, and getting that and pushing that up. So, their best return on their product goes to that candy line and that checkout line so you can do the impulse buy. So it's really helping them and giving them the information to make their own decisions, and also obviously who's buying from them and what else can I sell them and how can I market to those people. Get the email address, push out marketing. How many people get daily emails on their email from stores that they do business with? So it's just about helping them grow, sell more to more people, and retain the business, the customers that they have, like Tim in Indiana.
Yeah.
Tim.
Keith, any last words?
Yeah, I'll just add one more because it kind of speaks across all fronts. We kind of mentioned it earlier, is everybody wants more time, right? So if businesses, imagine a business owner, if they don't have solutions that can save them time, they can't reinvest that into their business. So whether it's finding capital quickly, having a point of sale system that provides the reporting, us as payment aggregators, sales agents out there and such, understanding what those are to teach that merchant, here's how you save 4 hours a week. Great, now that you've saved 4 hours, how do you want to spend it? Do you want to spend it in marketing your business, training your employees to be stronger salespeople to get your tickets up, or heck, just spend more time with your family? Yep. I mean, those are things that add value to what we go out and do every single day.
Thank you very much. I guess that concludes our time, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.